ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. Because what we have here is not just another free agency shuffle. Like, this isn't just a mid-season tweak. No, this is seismic. Calvin Ridley, former Jacksonville Jaguar, recent Tennessee Titans acquisition, has just made an absolutely stunning exit from Nashville and is now in a move that's going to send shockwaves through the NFC, headed to Dallas to join forces with Dak Prescott and what could now be one of the most dangerous passing offenses in the entire NFL. That's right. Calvin Ridley is a Dallas Cowboy. Let that sink in for a second. This isn't a rumor. This isn't a we'll see how the talks go situation. This is done, signed, sealed, and ready to cause absolute chaos in the NFC East. And in today's video, we're going to unpack all of it. How it happened, why it happened, what it means for the Titans, and more importantly, what it means for the Dallas Cowboys and their long, agonizing pursuit of postseason glory. All right, so if you're a Cowboys fan or just a fan of absolute madness in the NFL, you're going to want to watch this one until the very end. Let's start with the obvious. Calvin Ridley was supposed to be the guy in Tennessee. After the Jaguars surprisingly let him test the open market, Ridley signed a significant deal with the Titans, who were trying to resurrect their offense under new leadership and give Will Levis a legit weapon downfield. Ridley was viewed as the veteran route runner with elite separation skills who could complement DeAndre Hopkins and help modernize an otherwise predictable offensive scheme. Titans fans had hope, real hope, that this duo could finally give them a respectable aerial attack. But fast forward just a few weeks into the season and reports began to swirl. Ridley wasn't happy, whether it was the quarterback play, the offensive scheme, the lack of targets, or perhaps just a lack of chemistry. Something wasn't working. Whispers out of Nashville suggested tension between Ridley and the coaching staff. It didn't help that Ridley's targets were declining, his production was sporadic, and the Titans were struggling to find rhythm on offense. And then, boom, out of nowhere, he requests a release. The front office, aware of Ridley's discontent and perhaps recognizing that forcing a fit wasn't worth the trouble, lets him walk. Mutual parting, they said. Professional. But make no mistake, this wasn't planned. This was a blow to the Titans season. Now, just days later, we find out that Ridley is taking his talents to the Lone Star State. That's right. Jerry Jones once again pulls off a stunner. Quietly working behind the scenes, he brings Ridley into the Star and sells him on a vision. A chance to be more than just a WR2, a chance to join forces with CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup, to be part of a three-headed monster that could absolutely torch defenses, a chance to resurrect his career, his image, and maybe even be the missing piece that helps Dallas finally break through that Super Bowl ceiling they've been staring at for over 2 decades. You can say what you want about Jerry, and people do, but when he wants a guy, he moves heaven and earth to get him. And now he's got Calvin Ridley in a Cowboys uniform, and every defensive coordinator in the league is on high alert. But let's really talk about the impact here, because this isn't just about adding another name to the depth chart. This is a philosophical shift for Dallas. For years now, the Cowboys have relied heavily on the run game. Ezekiel Elliott in his prime, Tony Pollard more recently, ball control, methodical drives, chewing the clock, and while that's been effective in the regular season, it's stalled out in the playoffs. When teams force Dak to win with his arm, when the pressure's on and the playbook has to open up, the lack of dynamic weapons beyond Lamb has been glaring. Now, with Ridley in the mix, that changes overnight. This is a guy who, when fully healthy and focused, is a nightmare in man coverage. His footwork, his release, his precision, all top tier. He creates separation better than almost anyone in the league. And in an offense that already commands safety attention with Lamb, Ridley is going to get single coverage more often than not. That's a problem for defenses, a big problem. Dak Prescott has taken his fair share of criticism, some of it deserved, some of it not. But one thing you can't deny is that he thrives when he has weapons. When Amari Cooper was in his prime, we saw Dak at his best. Confident, decisive, surgical. Adding Ridley gives him another trusted route runner who can win early and give Dak quick reads. It also opens things up for Lamb to move around the formation more. And let's not forget Gallup. While inconsistent, he now becomes the third option, not the second. That's a more natural fit. Defenses will have to pick their poison. Double Lamb? Ridley eats. Focus on Ridley? Lamb will kill you. Stack the box. Pollard goes to work. Sit back in zone. Dak has all day. This is a headache for defensive coordinators and a dream for Cowboys fans. And then there's Mike McCarthy. Oh boy. The pressure just got real because now there are no more excuses. You can't say the offense lacks weapons. You can't say they're one-dimensional. McCarthy's play calling, often criticized for being conservative or unimaginative, now has to evolve. With Ridley in the fold, you have to get creative. Use motion, create mismatches, scheme Ridley and Lamb open on crossing routes, drag concepts, deep overs, or the whole route tree is now available. If McCarthy can't make it work with this group, it may finally be time for a serious change on the sideline. The Cowboys are all in. This move screams Super Bowl or bust. But let's not ignore the flip side. Because, yes, there are risks. Ridley comes with baggage after missing an entire season due to suspension for violating the NFL's gambling policy, and then having a solid but not spectacular return year with Jacksonville. There are questions. Is he still that guy from Atlanta? Can he stay healthy? Can he handle the pressure of being in Dallas where the media scrutiny is relentless and every game feels like a national event? And can he stay focused, locked in a system that demands discipline and timing? Because if not, this could backfire. But based on what we've heard, Ridley wanted this. He pushed for it. And when a player wants to be somewhere, when he chooses to embrace the spotlight, especially a spotlight as hot as the one in Dallas, that says something. And from a locker room standpoint, sources say Ridley's already connecting with teammates. He and CeeDee Lamb reportedly talked for over an hour during his visit, discussing routes, timing, off-season training, even jersey numbers. That chemistry matters. And if Dak can build rapport with Ridley early, if they can get on the same page before the playoff push, this could turn into one of the most potent quarterback wide receiver tandems in the NFC, maybe even the NFL. So, where does this leave the Titans? Well, reeling, to be honest. Losing Ridley after just acquiring him is a gut punch. It signals a franchise still struggling to find identity on offense. Levis, while promising, now has to continue developing without a top-tier route runner. Hopkins is still a threat, but aging, and without Ridley to draw coverage, things could get tighter for him. Tennessee's front office will likely try to spin this as a mutual clean break, but make no mistake, this was a loss, a major one. Meanwhile, in Dallas, the vibes couldn't be higher. The NFC East is tough, no doubt. The Eagles are still stacked. The Commanders are rebuilding with a new quarterback, and the Giants, well, we'll see. But with Ridley now in the fold, Dallas has made their intentions clear. They're not here to play it safe. They're swinging for the fences because deep down they know the clock is ticking. Dak is in his prime. Lamb is elect. The defense, anchored by Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs, is ready to win now. And now the offense might finally be ready too. So here we are. Calvin Ridley, once a Falcon, briefly a Jaguar, then a Titan, is now a Dallas Cowboy. And with that, the stakes just got a whole lot higher in Big D. Is this the move that finally gets them over the hump? Is this the piece that completes the puzzle? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, Sunday's just got a whole lot more exciting in Dallas.